Well, it was a long day today, guys, and I did a little recording at the park, but it was pretty much intruder alert, dog, everybody who could walk through the screen was, and that's okay. It's okay. They just became part of the show with me, but the show. Either way, the message earlier was just about being outside, like while you're doing all your errands and chores and having to run back and forth, this, that, and the third. Take some time to get out of your car, walk around your car, stretch your legs, get some air, make contact with a person, say hi, something. Just interact with the world around you. But this video, I was checking over my, what is it, YouTube Studio, and where it gives you the suggestions or the trends or whatever, or topics that have been searched, I guess, related to the content that you do. So one of the topics that was searched is, why do chosen ones have such a hard time being around other people? I'm going to give you the answer to that. Most of the time, the answer is as simple as you're a super empath. You feel more feelings than other people. You are more affected by those around you. Like the day of the week affects you, the way that the traffic flow is, the way the person on the other side of the phone is angry. Like that has more of an effect on you than others. So you can't go be in big crowds where you're processing all of everyone else's unprocessed emotions, right? You're kind of like a filter. They haven't dealt with it and you can't avoid feeling it. So it's like when someone gets embarrassed and you feel secondhand embarrassed for them. So you you try to cut in or make a joke or something, you just ease the tension from that other person's embarrassment. Well, you one on one, yeah, maybe you can do that for one individual. But what if you had to do it 5 times in a row? What if you had to do it 20 times in a row all at one time? You couldn't defend 20 people all at once, right? So, God's chosen ones are um, amplifiers. Amplifiers for the energy around them, readers for the energy around them, like a human lie detector, but also a cleaner for it, a filter for it. Like you don't just run into that energy and then it stays there. You're like a gauze or a bandage that runs to the wounded spot and covers it and heals it. So it takes a toll on you. Um, that's for an empath. Now, being telepathic is even worse. Even worse. One on one can be hard for a telepath because they have to deal with the conversation that they're having and the conversation that they're not having. They have to deal with more subtleties. They have to deal with more unspoken things. And then just people don't always talk about their stuff, like what's going on, but they are always carrying it around. And so, chosen ones are that band aid, that sponge, that healer who showed up just at the right time, but they come in to a messy situation and clean it up, and they leave feeling bad, but everyone else feels good. That is a sure sign of being an empath. That you always seem to turn the mood. You walk into a room of uncomfortable, angry, worried people, and you cheer them up. You lighten the mood. You continue to give your energy until it literally you have absorbed it to the point of you're uncomfortable. You're feeling sickly. I call it emotion sick, literally. There's also the clairaudient, clairsentient. There's mediums. Mediums have to deal with people's not so passed on loved ones. I deal with that one myself. That one's a difficult one. There's You're always stuck between a rock and a hard place. You want to tell their relative what it is that they're needing to hear, but you're not wanting to be rude or creepy and scary and be like, I'm sorry, your dead aunt said that she misses you and that your mom left you an inheritance, but you haven't found it yet because your brother's stealing from you. You don't want to air all that out, but trust me, the dead don't keep secrets. They don't have a reason to. They're trying to get it off their chest so they can move on. But that's not to say that someone has to be in communion with spirits to be a medium. It's just they're naturally born that way. That's how they are. People who can't help but be what they are often get put in situations that test their character, test their candor, test their perseverance. Usually the people who tune in with me are very isolated, very much like in a lighthouse. You know what I mean? You attract a lot, good and bad. You are very helpful to others, but they take. And So you end up alone because that's the only way you can recharge. A lot of the chosen ones spend so much time in isolation because your spirit team is talking to you. Your guides are talking to you. If you were distracted with the everyday world, if you were not quiet, if you were not centered, if you weren't where you were supposed to be, you wouldn't even see the messages. You wouldn't even get the warnings. You wouldn't be ahead of the danger. You would still be in a victim stance to where everything is happening to you, not for you. You're not in on it. You don't know what's going on. It's just always happening. It's a lot better to be in on it. It's a lot better to be a part of your unfoldment than to try to force your way through things. The striving and the climbing and the rat race, the material world that we all stay in, that keeps us unhappy. That keeps us sick. That keeps us worried. That keeps us separated. Because those things are all consuming. They take up all your mental space and all your time, because time is money. Time is money. No, time is currency. And it's a currency you cannot get back. So it matters what you spend your time on, not your money. You can get more money. You have to give up more time for it, but you can get more money. Say you work for a company. If you work for a company and you get paid hourly, even if it's a salary, there's a finite amount. It's like putting a fire out with buckets of water. You only have so much time to get a bucket and get the water dumped and get back and get another bucket. And so you are limited to how much water you can get, how much money you can get on an hourly rate, because there's only so many buckets of water you can get per minute, per hour, per week, per month. You get what I'm saying? Or there's the other way, where you don't work hourly, you work by the project, and you estimate how much each project is worth, how much time and energy it's going to take you to start and finish this project with material included, and that makes you have unlimited access, because each project is a set amount. And if you have too many projects, you raise the price so that the next one costs more than the last one. If someone's willing to pay more, then yes, that would make them a priority. But as a baseline, don't undersell yourself in the first place. Don't sell yourself short for a company that won't even give you a sick day for a surgery. Don't sell yourself to a company that doesn't, there's no such thing as sick days. There's no such thing as insurance. There's no such thing as full time. You're not just selling yourself short. It's taking away from you. A lot of times we get hemmed up in a 9-to-5 job, and that job is so taxing and so draining that when you're not at that job, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to look for another job. You don't have any time for a hobby. You don't spend any time with any people. You're just in your house, just watching your TV, just scrolling on your phone, doing both. You got your laptop open, you're scrolling on your phone, and you're watching TV. Because all of your time is being stolen from you. All of your time. The screen is stealing your time, work is stealing your time, and everything costs money. Everything that operates like this, under this matrix, under this grid work. But you don't have to do it that way. Like I said, I come from a family of like independent contractors, people who work for themselves. If you work for yourself, you have to be an asshole. You have to make yourself do what you're supposed to do. But you can also buy your own breaks. You can make enough money to decide, I'm going to take this amount of time off because that's what I need to do. And I also know that I have it in me to cover that amount. I don't mean own your own business, because once you own your own business, you're back into the circulation of business world. I'm talking about projects that you put forth, singular things, one-time deals. You just go and you do, and then it's done, and then you move on. If you were an artist, if you were a creator, if you were a maker of some sort, you would start and finish a project, and then you would sell that one piece, and then you would basically have time off to get re-inspired, to find the materials for the next piece, and you'd be doing your thing. But we don't even allow enough time for people to rest, to want to scroll and look for something else, or just use what you have. Like, I have a little room full of a little project things but like I said before, I am a preschool teacher, so that's pretty much all we're ever doing. There's always little kids gluing stuff to other stuff. But in my home life, I have that material. It's not like I'm having to work after work. I'm not having to take work home with me either. I've had several shitty jobs. I've worked for adults who refuse to take care of themselves. Thank you. This room is huge. You guys should. This is an inherited house, and this room is ridiculously large. This is like some people's whole apartment. If my family hadn't been so disrespectful with it, they'd be in it. And so I'm taking care of it and making good use of it. My grandmother was absolutely thrifty. Like, where you guys see the wall back there, what you would not know is that is brown paper sacks with lacquer over it. That's not wood. She had so many ideas like that, and she made her house look so elegant with things you would never think to use as media. I, on the other hand, will not be gluing pom-poms to the wall, but I can make a little creature since we've been talking. There's a little 3-eyed Easter egg with pom-pom head. So thank you. You guys, you don't have to spend a lot of money or a lot of time to fidget around with stuff just to amuse yourself. Not giving yourself the allowance, saying that's childish, I shouldn't do that, that's, I'm not a kid, I can't play. Although we don't spend the night with each other anymore, that doesn't mean your friend doesn't think it's cool. It doesn't mean that your niece and nephew aren't going to have a birthday where this guy's my favorite. Hold on, he's a mascot. He's the inspiration, right? It's like a Wally head and some broken dinosaur legs and an egg and some pom-poms, but the point is, it was stuff that was already laying around. And at the end of my overly adult day, I do these little projects, mess with these little things long enough to just clear my head of all the things I already had to do, because I'm going to have to do a bunch again tomorrow. I was on a phone call today for 2 hours straight, gave up, opted for the call back, and knew they weren't going to call me back. I just did not have any hope in the situation. 30 minutes goes by, they do call me back, and then I have to stay on the phone another 2 hours with the representative, and the representative is saying everything that I need to upload and find and do, I have to do while she's on the phone. Otherwise, once it's over, I won't be able to upload anything. So the joke, it was a lot to do. And then after the 4 hours worth of phone call to get this going, I go to the main office, and then I still spent another hour turning in paperwork in person, handing in the same thing I just spent all that time uploading. We're, as a society, facing a lot of changes, sudden changes, intentional changes to make things that were already hard on people even harder. And I'm not going to name call, even though sometimes that's the only thing I can think to do. We're not going to be able to change the weather, but we can wear rain boots and an umbrella, right? We can offset and counter some of the stress by de-stressing. I found these yoga videos that they were specific. It was like yoga for headaches, yoga for depression, yoga for focus, and yoga for back pain. I have to say, the two that I did worked really well. I slept really well afterwards. I felt better, and a side effect of doing yoga is it releases a lot of built up acids in your muscles, but also our body is just a whole tape recorder. When you go through things, whether you're present or not, your body's there for all of it, every bit of it. Your skin is first contact. So when you're under a lot of stress, rightfully so, your skin, the point of contact, you'll get a rash, or you'll break out, or you'll whatever, because your skin is actually having a reaction to your environment. That means the skin that's covering everything is covering the fact that your insides are really having a reaction to it. Your insides are screaming out for water, or for help, or for sleep, something. Your body's always sending signals to you. If you're prone to turning the signal off, as we are conditioned to do, you just ignore it. Hunger pains, I'll have to eat later. Bathroom, I'll go later. I need to get permission. I mean, we train ourselves to ignore signals on purpose because we don't have time to stop for that. Well, you're kind of taking away your base functions. You're turning off a thing that's been here for years and years and years. It's perfectly developed to do exactly what it's doing without you having to think about it. If you cut yourself, your body will heal without you having to think about it. You just put a band-aid on it, you go to sleep, and a few days later, voila, it's not even there anymore. You didn't have to consciously do that. Your body did it for you. Well, you do have to consciously put food in. You do have to consciously make yourself rest. You could go long enough just to pass out, but it's not the same. Instead of being distracted with everything around you, take time to stop and listen to your body. What does it want? Does it need more sleep? Does it need more water? Does it need more sunlight? Sometimes I get so full of energy, I can't sleep very well, especially in the summertime. It takes so long for the sun to go down, I just don't get tired as quick. And then, because that's the only cool period in the day or the night, I tend to stay up and utilize that time and then end up sleeping in the morning, which is the only other time that's cool. So I did some gardening this morning. I didn't sleep very well, but I got up early anyways, and I went outside before I had to start the other stuff, and I planted the rest of my irises around my driveway just because it was in the shade and I was able to, and I knew I wouldn't get back to it later. It would be hot and I would start complaining, which I did. Even when I had to go pick my garden tools up, I started complaining about it. I break it up. It's not that every day I want to go get hot. It's not that every day I have to do something just to keep my dinosaur alive. But on days where I'm particularly tired of adulting, I'm particularly overwhelmed with being mom and teacher and wife, and I'm done, I will come into this big old room and I will play with things as simple as wooden sticks, little sticks that I turned into a whole house just for fun. Just because, you know what? I needed more glitter. I needed more glitter. What about you guys? Put some glitter on it. Real life is shitty. I don't care what you do trying to make the best of it. The routine will still get to you. You'll still get tired of it. You still have to find an outlet, right? I don't care if it's writing, something other than just watching TV. Watching TV and watching the screen is watching other people live their lives. That's not you living your life. It's healthy up to a point to be able to come on here because you connect with people you wouldn't normally be able to connect with. They're not in your environment, so you do have to reach out. But once you reach out and you connect with each other, what do you do after that? Like, do we just live in fictional land? Are these theoretical people? Or do we go on about our lives? Will you be inspired to do something, whether you show it off or not, that actually brought you a lot of joy just because you saw someone else doing it? We need to be able to show our kids things outside of this, because when we're not doing this, we feel kind of lost. We feel kind of void, like something's missing. There should be extra going on. I don't think it's helping any of us to go faster and faster and faster and do more and more and more and more in a day. I'm telling you, 15 minutes scroll time is an hour and a half in real life. So we're losing time. You've got to reclaim some of your time back, even if it's for the sake of nothingness. That's why I say make these little projects, do your planning, do your gardening, do something tangible, so that after you've spent an hour and a half somewhere, there was something to show for it. After you stayed on the phone for what feels like 4 days, there was actual information passed back and forth, not just filling up the airways, you know what I mean? I have 2 little spectral children, and they have to have constant engagement, and that's how my school kids are as well, but that constant engagement wears me out. I learn a lot in a day, but there's nowhere to put it. At the end of the day, I don't have anywhere to just stack all that up. Salt baths are literally saving people's lives. I'm telling you, it's the way to go. A salt bath is a good way to neutralize negative energies, just like people who use crystals and herbs and things like that, where you want to clean out your crystal, you put it in salt. Well, our body, the water in our body is like crystals. You put yourself in the salt water, it neutralizes the negativity. So salt is a good thing to keep in your home. Ice packs, it is the hot part of the summer now, but they have these little like 98-cent tiny personal size ice packs for your lunchbox or whatever. It's for a small lunchbox. You never know when you're going to get a firecracker burn that you really do need to tend to. So keep you some zinc oxide and a little ice pack. Maybe you get too hot, you need to put it on the back of your neck and cool down, because heat sickness is not a joke. Once you go over that peak for the summer, you're done. You can't go get that hot again. You're going to get hospitalized. The UVs are extraordinarily high this year. We've got, I think, El Nino, so we've got a lot more water going on, more aggressive water, high tides. It's the weather is very unpredictable right now, and I don't see it getting much better. We've been warned about this. Our climate scientists always say the same thing. Well, basically, just shit's at its peak. You know what I mean? We're rocking and rolling. Like I said before, we're not going to be able to change the weather, but we can wear rain boots and an umbrella. You can be prepared. These changes are not overnight, they're gradual. You can see it coming. Look at last year. You can kind of guess about next year. Maybe not 100%, but you have a basis to go on. I'm pretty sure the destructive side of things is going to continue for a while. We're still going to see more businesses collapse. We're still going to see, like, basically the high cost of things hitting a bust, where people just don't see it as a priority anymore. They just don't use those services or businesses anymore because there's no room in the budget for it. Every time we make a little more money, things cost a whole lot more. Or we only make more money because things cost too much to buy again. Every time we print more money and then we offset for inflation, the offset is we just devalue the last money we had. So instead of saying you can't afford it, we just trick you into saying it will take more to get it. Well, that's when priorities have to change. That's when planning has to change. And the old timers, they knew what they were doing. If you look at a lot of traditional recipes and stuff, I was looking into foods last week. Traditional recipes are often more holistic, healthy ingredients, like base ingredients, but it's also made for people, from people who had a very small budget to work with, and they need to feed a lot of people. So if you kind of ask your nannies and papas, what did they eat? How are they doing it? They'll tell you. We basically had these staples, and we had them every week, every other meal. Their meals were planned, right? There wasn't as much fast food. Everyone wasn't so busy that they forgot to cook. Everyone wasn't so broke that it was easier to get fast food, cheaper to get fast food than it was to actually get healthy food from the grocery store. We're going to end up having to go backwards just to save ourselves, slow down a little bit until the rest of us can catch up, and automation is not saving anybody. If we automate everything and we have the robot do it for us, what job do we go to pay for our shit? Sometimes these thoughts keep me up at night, folks, but I'm also solution oriented, so it's just food for thought. It's just stuff to think about. It's not really something to eat your lunch, right? But there are plenty of people in the world who don't have a lunch. That's a first world problem. The things I'm talking about are first world problems. If you get to stop on here and listen to me talk about emotional regulation and doing projects that you want to do and things to decompress from your everyday life, consider yourself fucking lucky. You are one of the lucky ones. You are blessed. There are other people wishing for your problems. Remind yourself of that. Remind yourself of that whenever you're getting down, you're getting stuck in a funk, you're feeling lonely, you're feeling out of sorts. The fact that you were able to stop and watch someone on a phone screen means you're safe. You're doing better than a lot of people. You're not in danger right now. You may not have what you want, but you most likely do have what you need. Our phones do help us escape. They do help us get ideas. They do help us move around without having to drive. It does save a lot on transportation. But we cannot only live in a digital theoretical world. There has to be tangibility. There still has to be interconnectivity. There still has to be the natural flow of things. The animals in nature don't just lay down and ride out the seasons. The seasons don't just stay the same. Nothing just stays the same. So trying to force every single moment into an interaction of sameness, uniformity, is not going to work. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to be flexible, and to learn flexibility is to also let go of things. Let go of the way it was done. Let go of the things you got comfortable with. Let go of the things you kind of took for granted. I'll say this: COVID made us wish for our old problems back, and we got some of those plus. The world changed after that. The way things are done changed after that. The mindset really changed. There were a lot of people who stopped their job because it either disappeared or they couldn't go back. And it went on for such an extended time that when they could go back, they didn't want to. People had gotten comfortable and they had gotten used to being provided for by someone else, or just a lot of realizations were had. People's hobbies stopped. Their everyday goings on stopped. Like say people go to the casino a lot, or they're going to the movies a lot, or they're going out to eat a lot. Well, that was just out of habit. That's just something they were doing all the time. Well, the shutdown shut everyone down. So those habits that they just did because that's what filled up their time, they weren't allowed to do them. Two things happened. They lost the habit of doing it. It wasn't just automatic behavior. And they saw an increase in their finances because they weren't spending it on those things anymore. So even though they were allowed to go back to doing it, they didn't want to. They changed certain vices. They changed certain entertainment sources. They changed certain friends groups because a lot of people aired a lot of stuff out they maybe didn't mean to say, but it couldn't be unsaid afterwards. Um, Differences on opinions of vaccine. There was so much divisive tactics pulled on us, and specifically through this is the only way we could all connect with each other, and this thing was like puppeteering the entire thing. It was obvious. It's still obvious, but a lot of us backed away and had to reassess, and against our will still had to make adjustments for new living. We haven't got to go back to how it was before that, and the recovery has taken quite a while. Our leaders are leading us down a dark path that we didn't even agree to. A lot of us were not in agreement before it happened, and then after it started happening, we were really not in agreement. Still, at risk of getting a bag put on your head, you can't go too deep into that on these platforms at all. You'll not just be shut down. Intimidation will be done against you. Other methods to let you know you need to shut up will be done. I've literally already moved states once just from having a large opinion. I won't share those opinions. I'll stick to facts. I'll stick to positive reinforcement. I will stick to the footnotes, but we're not going to go politics and religion on this channel because to each their own. Please don't harm others. That you can't call that a religion or a politic. It's just cruelty disguised under another name. I'm pretty sure it's about 10-ish. I don't know where it is for you guys, but happy July. We've started here in the United States. We're about to have 4th of July, so they'll go nuts with fireworks and gunpowder and just fire in general, things set on fire, barbecues, fields, just explosive stuff that was on accident. Almost every single year without fail, a firework goes off inside of a fireworks stand and pretty much burns the whole thing down. What are you going to do? It's probably covered by insurance. And thank you very much. I'm sorry, guys. When I squint, it's because the words are really small and I don't have great eyesight. However, I'm very thankful that you joined me. I'm glad that you guys obviously have the time to sit and relax and just view content. If it's at all possible, let me get away for those who live in apartments, because I've been talking about indoor gardening where you don't have dirt. I'm going to show a way to where it kind of looks like this, but way bigger boxes to put plants in so that you could have like horticulture indoors. I've seen the hanging plants, those are nice and all, but I'm talking about something that you stick on your tabletop that the plants grow out of. It's important to have fresh air, but you can't just grow any old type of plant in your house. You could accidentally poison yourself. I have a fun book on poisonous plants, and does anyone know that a ficus is poisonous, that you actually do have to let air flow in to keep yourself from getting poisoned by the vapors? Those little yellow flowers in Texas, I think they're called cayotillo, they cause paralysis. So sometimes the coyotes end up eating stuff from there, and it looks like they just pass out, but they got paralyzed and died. Not Potatoes are dangerous. Potatoes have arsenic in them. Know your plants. Please do not just pick anything off a bush and stick it in your mouth. Get get some kind of reference before doing that. A lot of people on the Darwin deaths have hurt themselves with mushrooms. People who want to do mushroom foraging and then just pop it in their mouth. You can't do that. Fruit from the store, right off the shelf, you cannot just pop it in your mouth. You have to wash it off. Please wash your fruit. Also, please eat your fruit. My children act like a monster came out from underneath the bed when I asked them to try fruit or vegetable. But we did a scavenger hunt last week where we had pictures of different vegetables in this nutritional guide thing. We went to a farmer's market and we went to different grocery stores and we had them pick out and try at least one fruit and at least one vegetable. I had so many avocados. Oh my goodness, I love it. Avocados are good for your brain. Pineapple is good for your brain. Coconut is good for your brain, and bananas. If you can get yourself to like any of those, at least one of them, you can clear out and decalcify your pineal gland. You can get the heavy metals out of your body and get your stomach enzymes working right. The last tip, if you need some help with metabolism, there are two waters. Just water with lemon, and then water with lemon and lime. Not the droplets, not the fake juice. A real lemon and a real lime. You just stuff it down into the container of the water, and as you sip it throughout the week. Keep it extra cold. It will help you get your electrolytes back in you. It'll help you sweat better. It will help purify, like detoxify. It'll also help your metabolism speed up. So, Beachbody, here we come. Plain water can also be a little bit hard to stay on top of. But with as much as you're sweating out, make sure you're putting it back in. A little bit of time with a lot of humidity is the same as being out in that sun with those UVs directly on you. I know it seems silly to put sunscreen on your way to work and on your lunch break and things like that, but please remember that when your car is like a toaster oven and the reflection is coming back from the glass, or you're around the water, the reflection off the water is also giving you a burn. Please keep your sunblock on. Put something on. It's going to wipe off, it's going to sweat off, all the above, but putting it on gives you just a little degree, 1 degree of safety between you and that blistering sun, and we're having solar flares, so that means sunspots mean sunspots. Like, you will literally get the little cancer spots because of the sunspots. Take care of your skin. It's your first point of contact between you and the outside world. Take care of your insides. You only get one vehicle, right? You only get the one car for your whole life. You don't get to trade cars. So take care of the one you got. I have to go get these kids to bed. I can hear them bumping around. But take care of your pets. Take care of your plants. Take care of your parents. I love you all. Until next time, good night.